Hello folks, as you might know, I'm a Championship channel mainly. I support Preston North and we're not in the Premier League. However, we all need to make content and a lot of people still do take interest in the Premier League that watch the Championship anyway, so why not make a Premier League predictions? I think at the time of this recording we're already 3 weeks into the Premier League, so this video will be out probably during game week 4 if not game week 5, so things might change up a little bit by then. But yeah, so as it stands, this is what I currently think the Premier League table will look like at the end of the season. So let's begin, shall we? This is going to be a bit of a tricky one because a lot of these teams are having some unprecedented starts of their season. For example, Liverpool aren't doing so hot, Man United aren't doing so hot either, but they've had a couple of, they've had one good moment so far, I suppose. Arsenal are having a phenomenal start to the season, as is Man City. And then you've got other teams like Fulham, which a lot of people said wouldn't do too great, that are doing pretty well. So there's going to be a few opinions here that might tick a few people off. But like I said, it's the start of the season. It's too early to predict anything anyways. And I always say I think you can only really get a rough idea of where the table will end at around November, December time when it comes to this league. Or maybe even January, because it's such a strange league. The Championship is a stranger league, I think, but this one also leads to some very unexpected things. Relegation, Bournemouth. Sorry, Bournemouth fans, if there are any of you here. I think you are definitely going down this season. You've had a terrible start, and I think it won't get much better going forward, unfortunately. Excuse me. In terms of predicting the rest of the relegation, it's quite difficult because a lot of these teams do have potential to do well this season. But if we're going to be predicting the champions, I'm actually going to... Well, I think 5 weeks ago I said Liverpool, but I really don't know if they're going to do it, to be honest with you. I know the start of the season is going to be a bit strange, but I'm actually going to change my mind, and I'm going to say Arsenal. I know Arsenal have had a great start to the season, and that's only the start, it's only 3 weeks in, but Arsenal's form is incredible. And over this transfer window, they've made some intelligent signings. They've had a great pre-season. They've had a great training camp over the summer. And I really do think that's going to continue. Provided they don't lose some of their better players and they can keep bringing in some quality as well as keeping every player fit and very mentally aware of what's going on. I think Arsenal are in for a great season. And I really do think they can contend to be champions, with Man City being a close second. In terms of every other team that's going to be in the Champions League qualification, I obviously think Liverpool are going to be there, but if that's third or fourth, they will be there. And in terms of the other team, I do think it'll probably be Chelsea. Actually, no, scratch that. Tottenham. I think Tottenham will be there. I'll organise them at the end in terms of where they'll finish placements-wise. But in terms of the 5th, 6th and 7th, we'll go for Chelsea. We'll also go for... Who are we going to go for? I think Newcastle. I think Newcastle are going to have a fantastic season this season. West Ham are having a slow start, but I think they'll get up there. Man United I think Man United and West Ham in this position are very interchangeable. But I think I'll give it to Man United simply because a lot of what they can do and what they can do was demonstrated in pre-season and against Liverpool in game week 3. The complete change in the players' attitudes, the way they were behaving on the pitch, and their awareness they actually had on that pitch were just completely different to the first 2 game weeks where they lost 4-0 to Brentford and 2-1 to Brighton. So they might have had a rocky start to the season, but what I saw against Liverpool, Man United this season are going to be capable of some pretty good results, I think. In terms of the mid-table, we're going to get... who are we going to get in the mid-table? Crystal Palace and West Ham, definitely. As well as maybe Leicester. Actually, definitely Leicester. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so I can have 5 in there. Who else can we get in there? I think we'll also maybe squeeze in Aston Villa and Wolves. Yeah. And now we need to just pick the last ones, which is going to be the hardest part. So Brighton, Everton, and Fulham, and Forest, definitely. Now, Leeds I'm going to put down for relegation, and then it's between Brentford and Southampton. And this is a tricky one, because I'm actually really not sure, to be honest with you. I'd put Southampton down there because of the way they've started the season, but like I said, anything can happen. Forest are having I think they'll have a decent season, but will they keep them up? I'm not sure. This is tricky, because unlike last season where you've got teams like Norwich and who else went down? We've got Norwich, Watford, and come on, brain work. Norwich, Watford, and Burnley. Those teams were pretty much almost guaranteed relegation. Everton were close, as were Leeds, but Everton, they were never going down. I don't think it's in the cards for Everton to go down, to be honest. Bournemouth, yes. Leeds, yeah, I can see Leeds going down, but then it's just between, I think for me, personally, it's between Forest, Brentford and Southampton, and I'm going to give it to Brentford and put Southampton as just clinging on for survival. But we'll go back to the top and we'll reorganise these a minute. So Champions League, yeah, second. I'm going to put Liverpool fourth and Spurs third. I'll put Chelsea fifth, Man United sixth, Newcastle seventh. Mid-table we'll have the Hammers, followed by Crystal Palace, then Leicester, then Villa and Wolves, that's fine. Bottom of the table, Bournemouth, then Leeds, and then Brentford. Southampton there, Forest there. I'm going to put Fulham towards the top of the bottom half, and I'll swap them too. Actually, no, I'll put Everton there, and then I'll swap Fulham. That is my Premier League table prediction for the end of the season. Now, some insights as to why I've said this, because I know a few people are going to be a bit confused. Arsenal is the champions because I just think everything they've done over the last 2 years under Mikel Arteta, it's going to be absolutely fantastic to watch Arsenal play some quality football this season. The first 3 matches, utter quality. Everything about them, the mentality and the way they play on the pitch looks massively improved. So, yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Arsenal. In terms of the Champions League spaces, City are going to be very close to Arsenal, I think, but I just think Arsenal win it by a few points. Obviously, City's a great team. Great players, great manager, and Erling Haaland's coming in, and I think he will tear apart the league. He'll get quite a lot of goals this season, but it's whether or not Man City can maintain the winning streak they've had. Can they do it? Maybe, but Arsenal and City are definitely interchangeable. Tottenham third, because Conte has proven to be a fantastic influence on all the players. They seem to be doing well. They've got the right attitude as well. Even if they might have a silly start to the season, I do think Spurs will definitely finish third for me. And Liverpool will finish only just underneath Spurs. I can't see them having a title race this season, Liverpool. I don't know why. Before the season started, I said they will. But now that the season has started, I don't know. Because Nunez looks like he's got a bit of a short fuse. Salah looks better than what he was at the end of last season, so that's good. Diaz and Jota, they're going to be the ones to look out for, I think. But in terms of everybody else on the pitch, I'm not sure how they're going to really play it forward, because they've had a lot of injuries to begin, and are they going to have recurring injuries? That's all it's going to come down to, I think, with Liverpool and Spurs, injury. But currently they're dropping a lot of points, and it's whether or not Spurs drop points for Liverpool to catch up, but provided they don't, this is where I see it finishing. Chelsea, again, they're a good team, they'll pick up a lot of points, but if their start of the season goes horribly and Tuchel somehow gets sacked, that could change. But provided that everything goes well, the new signings of Sterling and then what they do well, and Tuchel doesn't get sacked, I think they'll finish there. United and Newcastle, I think, are going to be very interchangeable this season, because, like I said, United are capable of fantastic football based on what we saw against Liverpool. But Newcastle, all throughout the season, I think they're going to be a solid team. They'll try not to drop points. They'll very rarely drop points, but when they do drop points, it won't be for a long period of time, unlike last season. West Ham, I think they'll be just underneath Newcastle in terms of points. Maybe they might win it on goal difference if it was West Ham up there. But yeah, I think these two are interchangeable. Palace are going to have a great season, I think. I don't know, I've just got a funny feeling that Palace are going to do really well this season. With players like Zaha in the first few game weeks, showing that he's fit and he's ready to go. I think he's nearing his peak, to be honest with you. So yeah, exciting times for Palace fans, I think. Leicester and Aston Villa and Wolves, I think these three could easily swap places, because I think they'll just drop an equal amount of points in some silly places. Everton and Fulham, I think they're definitely interchangeable. A lot of people are saying Fulham are going to go down, but I really don't think they are. As someone who observed Fulham very closely last season, I think they've got the absolute quality to show that they can survive in the Premier League. Last times they were in the Premier League, they made a few mistakes which led to them falling back to the Championship, but I think this time this group has enough experience with the Premier League now that they won't fall back down to the Championship. I think that's just the way it's going to go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Fulham can do, especially with some good forward options on their side. Brighton are going to have a decent start to the season, but I think they'll end up falling off. And if they don't finish in the bottom half, they'll definitely finish mid-table. I think you might be able to swap them with a team like Villa or Wolves. But yeah, I think Brighton will have a strange season. They'll be all over the place. Forest, I've seen a lot of people saying Forest are going to finish in UEFA League Conference. Don't be silly. Forest are a good team, but they're not that good. I think that's just Forest fans being a bit too excited that they're back in the Premier League, to be honest with you. But Forest will do okay. That's about it. And I don't know why, but I can't see Southampton doing really well this season. I know they've got good players like Che Adams on their side, but I just really don't see him doing too great this season. I've just got a funny feeling that they'll be battling for relegation with a team such as Brentford. But in terms of Bournemouth and Leeds, I think they'll definitely go down. I can't see any other team dropping as many points as those two, to be honest. But yeah, that is my final predictions for the Premier League. Do you agree or do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Give me your table predictions and whatnot. Feel free to give some reasonings if you want to. But yeah, that's mine. That's what you came for. And that's what you got. Now go away.